Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Maller Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. Alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. A new program at Indiana University is helping fight overdoses by training everyday citizens how to administer the opioid antidote, Narcan.
Firefighters, sheriff's departments, EMS are regularly, they're seeing these numbers increase in their community. They're saying to us, we need this type of intervention right now.
The program is in place in 5 counties, but is expected to expand around the state. It's harvest season in Indiana, but many farmers are tilling more fields than just their own.
They tend to work with 6 or 7, sometimes upwards a dozen different landlords.
Ahead, how technology is helping connect landowners and farmers. And labor shortages spawned by the pandemic are hitting the restaurant industry particularly hard, leading to shortened hours and closures. Those stories, plus the latest news headlines, right now on Indiana Newsdesk.
That's what gets you excited.
Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Indiana's death toll from COVID-19 hit another milestone this week, topping 15,000 since the beginning of the pandemic. But the overall number of cases, hospitalizations, and positivity rates are starting to trend down. As Indiana Public Broadcasting's Brandon Smith reports, the state's healthcare system is still stretched thin.
State health officials say there are positive signs that Indiana may be emerging from the surge of COVID-19 cases it's experienced the last couple months, but they still urge caution as the healthcare system continues to be strained. State Health Commissioner Dr. Chris Box says the number of cases per day and average positivity rate is starting to come down, but she also says improvement won't necessarily be steady.
We may see cases bounce back up and bounce back down. If you look at other states, that's what they see, kind of a sawtooth pattern. That is the nature of this disease.
Yet even as cases improve, hospital capacity is still stretched to the limit, higher than at any time in 2020 or 2019. Box says that's in part because people are finally receiving care for non-COVID conditions that have been delayed because of the pandemic. Department of Health Chief Medical Officer Dr. Lindsay Weaver says the state didn't see as big a spike in COVID vaccinations as she hoped after it was granted full FDA approval. She says about 5,000 to 6,000 Hoosiers get fully vaccinated each day.
If we continue at that pace, it could be well over another year before we achieve sufficient levels of immunizations to provide robust protection for the population at large.
Both Box and Weaver say vaccines are the answer to ending the pandemic. For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Brandon Smith at the State House.
Box went out of her way to urge pregnant women to get vaccinated. She says data clearly shows COVID-19 causes more serious disease in those who are pregnant as opposed to people the same age who aren't.
COVID-19 also increases the risk for poor pregnancy outcomes like stillbirth and preterm birth.
Less than half of eligible Hoosiers younger than 50 are vaccinated against COVID-19. The Monroe County Board of Commissioners have extended the county mask mandate through October 31st. The move comes even though the county's positivity rate has dropped below 5%, making it just one of 2 counties in the state with a positivity rate that low. Now, if Monroe County drops to the blue advisory level, meaning there are fewer than 10 new cases per 100,000, the mask order will automatically expire. Indiana has increased efforts in recent years to make the overdose antidote Narcan available to more Hoosiers. But a new program from IU School of Public Health is taking matters into its own hands and educating Hoosiers on how to use Narcan and be a citizen responder. Mitch Legan has this report.
It's been 2 years since Amy Powell's youngest son died from an accidental opioid overdose.
We spent a lot of time
out on these fields after school, watching all three boys play.
The thought of losing the youngest Powell was so painful to the family that they waited until recently to dedicate a bench in his memory at their favorite ballpark.
Cameron was a very normal kid in that he was definitely, sneaking out of the house, going out with his friends, just having a good time. I never suspected any drug use from Cameron.
Cameron began feeling ill one day at school 2 years ago. He had taken an opioid earlier that morning, but that's not something you tell mom or the school nurse.
And was complaining of his stomach hurting, he was nauseated. When they went to wake him up, he was very hard to rouse, he was snoring.
Nobody realized he was showing signs of a near overdose. Later that night, Cameron took another and went to bed. It was laced with fentanyl, and he never woke up.
In retrospect, it was plain as day. I will say at least 3 instances where there could have been a complete stop and a check-in with Cameron to see how he was doing leading up to his death.
A new program from the IU School of Public Health wants to prevent stories like Cameron's.
I have 2 doses of Narcan because evidence-based practice is to provide 2 in every kit.
Chris Henderson runs IU's Opioid Rapid Response System, a virtual program that's educating Hoosiers about opioid overdoses and how to respond to them. Launched last September, the program trains people how to administer the opioid antidote Narcan and connects them with possible overdose events.
Firefighters, sheriff's departments, EMS are regularly, they're seeing these numbers increase in their community. They're saying to us, we need this type of intervention right now.
The OARS program, as Henderson likes to call it, builds off a program that started in Clark County. It's self-paced and takes about 30 minutes to complete. After someone's trained on how to identify and respond to an overdose, they sign up for an app that alerts them when one's nearby.
We only selected communities that had invested in a medical app called PulsePoint. We just happened to be leveraging technology that communities have opted to purchase so that we connect people in real time to possible overdose events and render aid.
Residents of Boone, Dearborn, Hancock, Monroe, and Madison counties are currently eligible for OARS training. After they complete the training, Henderson will send an overdose kit complete with Narcan.
After finishing your training and getting your Narcan, the PulsePoint app will connect you to possible overdose events nearby. The thought is, if you're available, you might be able to get there before emergency authorities and save a life.
I think it's incredible. I think it's crazy not to do it. There is such a need for educating our teachers, our families.
Emergency professionals agree. They do their best to promptly respond to calls, but it's tough to be everywhere at once, especially in rural areas. And when it comes to overdoses, minutes can be the difference between life and death.
Narcan is the only way to prevent somebody from ODing. And so whatever means get it to the scene, it will end up saving lives.
The United States experienced record overdose deaths last year. Indiana did too. An estimated 560 more Hoosiers died last year compared to 2019.
The pandemic really, because so many more overdose deaths have happened, it's really reinforced the need for this type of intervention to be available.
Henderson is working to expand the program to 10 more Indiana counties. They've been meeting with the State Office of Drug Prevention, Treatment, and Enforcement, and representatives from drug-free Marion County have reached out about a possible partnership. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Mitch Legan.
Those interested in signing up for the training can visit prevention.iu.edu for details. Well, if you've gone out to eat lately, you can't help but notice the effect of the pandemic on the restaurant industry. Help wanted signs, limited hours of operation, and closures point to a need for workers. Pat Bean has this report for our City Limits project.
The pandemic has taken its toll on Bob Costello, who owns 3 Soma coffee houses, the Laughing Planet restaurant, and the Village Deli. Due to the current labor shortage and damage from the summer flood, he temporarily closed the Village Deli, a Bloomington staple on Kirkwood.
At the end of July, I decided I was going to take a rest because trying to operate the Village Deli and having about 25% of the staff required to run it got to a point where we were physically and mentally exhausted.
Costello reopened the Village Deli earlier this month, but in a limited fashion. It offers carry-out only on Fridays and has limited dining on Saturdays and Sundays. And while all 3 Somas remain open, the Laughing Planet became a casualty.
What I decided is between having 5 restaurants that I could not spread myself that thin with the labor shortages that we had. I just couldn't. I couldn't sustain it.
The labor shortage became a national issue during the pandemic, when restaurants and bars were forced to close due to various state mandates. The restaurant industry in Indiana lost 215,000 employees overnight. Getting them back now that restaurants are back open remains an issue. According to a survey from the National Restaurant Association, 72% of owners said recruitment and retention of workforce was their top challenge. Sekou Sibi is the president and CEO of Restaurant Opportunities Center United, a nonprofit based in New York. He says one of the issues is front-of-the-house restaurant workers had to police customers who refused to comply with mask mandates.
It has been very difficult for a lot of workers who wanted to go to work, but they were exposing the family while going to work because there are, customers who do not want to, think about their own safety, but the safety of the workers.
The bigger issue, Sibi says, is low wages and lack of benefits such as insurance and paid sick days. But increasing wages is something many restaurants, both dine-in and fast food, are doing to try to entice workers.
We've increased our wages. We pay servers $5.25 an hour plus tips. If they've worked for us for a year, it's $7.25 minimum wage plus tips. We pay our support $9 an hour plus tips. Our kitchen is getting paid anywhere between $13 and $18 plus tips as well.
But Sibi says that only hurts small, independent restaurants.
The government can get involved and create a policy, which means, increasing wages and working conditions, creating a policy to say minimum wage will be $16, $15, etc. It will level the playing field. Because what happened is larger corporations have the means to increase those wages, and a smaller restaurant is struggling.
Restaurants are not only facing a shortage of labor, the supply chain has been disrupted for more than a year and a half due to the pandemic. And that can have an effect on the menu.
They are unable to tell you that they're out of a product till they're at your door delivering it, and they'll say, oh, by the way, we don't have this, we don't have this, we don't have this, and we don't know when we're going to get it.
That just adds to problems restaurants are facing, and why those in the industry are asking customers to show a little bit of civility and patience.
I think it's important for people to know that the community needs people to work in order to continue to have the diversity of choice when it comes to dining out.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Pat Bean.
More than 100 people gathered on the banks of the Wabash River Sunday to dedicate a historical marker for Terre Haute and Vigo County's only known lynching. The great-grandson of George Ward, the black man lynched in 1901, was among 4 generations of Wards on hand.
You have pierced the dark cloud in this city with a ray of light and hope. Our desire is to open the eyes of the people today to the injustices of the past, so that the future will never have to experience these atrocities again.
Terre Haute is the first city in Indiana to participate in the Equal Justice Initiative's Community Remembrance Project, which aims to put historical markers at lynching sites. Vigo County is one of 11 Indiana counties to have had a racial lynching. The Equal Justice Initiative lists 18 in the state's history. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. Much of the farmland in the state is not owned by the farmers working the fields, but by individuals who rent out the land. And the Mike Woodson coaching era for Indiana basketball officially tips off Saturday with the annual Hoosier Hysteria event. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
Wake up.
Wake up to the world.
To the marvels. The mayhem.
The music.
Wake up to the wows. The woes.
The wonder.
Wake up to the commotion. To the beauty.
To the humanity.
To the hope. Wake up every morning. Fully awake.
NPR Morning Edition.
Tune in to your local station or download the NPR app.
Year after year, PBS has been bringing you the news you trust.
We care about the things that are going to affect the lives of each and every American.
The in-depth analysis you need.
What we normally see in these big crises.
And the true stories that have to be told.
We're a place that people can come not just to find out what happened, but why it matters.
It's all thanks to the support of viewers like you. Thank you. And stay tuned to America's most trusted network.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Wind turbine service technician and solar panel installer are two of the fastest growing jobs in the U.S. If passed, the infrastructure and budget reconciliation bills making their way through Congress are only going to increase demand for those workers. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Rebecca Theo reports training Hoosiers to work these jobs will be critical.
The median pay for wind turbine workers in the U.S. last year was about $56,000 a year. For solar panel installers, it was $46,000. But Hoosiers won't be able to access these jobs without training. Congressman Mervan says it's his goal to secure funding in the infrastructure and reconciliation bills for apprenticeship and other workforce development programs.
Clean jobs, those are union jobs, and those are jobs that are able to sustain people's families. They're able to sustain a pension, they're able to sustain health care, putting kids through college.
Among other things, the bills would also increase the need for more workers for roads, bridges, water pipes, airports, and mass transit. Some analysts are concerned the demand for workers will outpace the funding to train them all. Mervan says investments in child care and senior care to get more women back to work who have lost jobs because of the pandemic is also vital to boost the U.S. economy.
The pandemic has been extremely hard. There's been an economic crisis, and the percentage of women statistically who have gone back into the workforce is at a too low of a level.
For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Rebecca Thiel.
Well, often not all the land a farmer works is his own. Brock Turner reports on how technology is helping connect farmers and landowners.
It's harvest season, and like so many places across the state, farmers are getting ready to work their fields. In many cases, it's not the folks who own this land who are responsible for farming it, but like so many other businesses, technology is changing the way farmers find their next bumper crop. David Musselman has been a farmer in Hamilton County his entire life.
Growing up here, Dad had me out driving a tractor when I was 4 or 5 years old, and I've stayed with it.
While he and his family own about 500 acres, they farm much more than that. Musselman and most other farmers grow their operations by leasing land. While data on the subject is hard to track, experts agree the number of Indiana farmers with at least some rented land is sizable.
Almost all of them have some amount of rented land.
Some research estimates 40% of all U.S. farmland is rented, which translates to around 350 million acres annually. For most corn and soybean farmers, especially those at the beginning of their careers, owning all of their land is out of the question.
They tend to work with 6 or 7, sometimes up towards a dozen different landlords. So they also don't necessarily want their other landlords to know kind of what they're paying some of the other landlords. So it's really tricky to tell.
Despite the secrecy that surrounds many agreements, local connections are at the root of the vast majority of transactions.
I'm friends with everybody I farm with, And, I've been at it for 50 years.
Some landowners who don't have strong ties to the community struggle to find farmers to lease their ground.
We live 40 miles away from the land that we bought, and I had no connection whatsoever with any farmer.
For Singh and other landowners, technology is beginning to bridge the gap. Both he and Musselman connected on the Tillable app, which connects landowners to farmers. While the vast majority of tillable landowners never meet their farmers, today was different.
We bought this land 2 years ago. So the goal was to build a house here, away from the city, still in the city limits. Then COVID hit. The plan didn't go as we, thought about.
Even though experts agree the vast majority of agreements will continue to take place offline, tillable is beginning to change a decades-long practice few outside of agriculture ever thought about.
This is a part of agriculture that really doesn't get much attention.
While Tillable and other networks are still responsible for a relatively small number of the total transactions, Keithy believes it's only a matter of time before the innovation that has infiltrated other parts of agriculture reaches these types of agreements.
I'm always skeptical saying it's going to be totally different. It's going to be a huge structural change, but I think we'll see some movement.
Until then, Musselman has few plans to change the way he brokers other agreements.
I think for the most part it'll stay with who you know.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Brock Turner.
Well, Indiana is in the height of Ginseng Harvest season, which runs from September to December, but as Benta Boutier reports, with the challenges of COVID-19 and aging harvesters, some dealers see harvesting Indiana ginseng as a dying art.
Michael Bartlett hikes through a dark forested area searching for ginseng, a native root in Indiana and 18 other states. It's believed to have medical benefits that make it valuable, especially in Southeast Asia markets. From southern Indiana, Bartlett went hunting for ginseng for the first time nearly 30 years ago.
It was a way to make an income as a kid. You know, I grew up on a farm, but you pretty much had to go out and do something else on the weekends to make some money, you know. So I've bought a lot of stuff through the years just digging ginseng.
Now he works with Brent Duncan at Duncan's Botanical Products to buy ginseng from harvesters, and he and Duncan cultivate their own small crop.
This is a 3-prong plant right here. That's they have to be at least 3-prong and bearing seed to be able to dig. So this plant has probably already shed its seed for the year.
After so many years, he's learned the tricks of the trade.
You always clear your spot out around the plant. That way you can see which way this stem is running.
Bartlett joined Duncan's business in 2005. They buy different types of herbs native to Indiana, but American ginseng is one of their more valuable purchases. Duncan says in recent years, fewer people come in to sell ginseng, and younger harvesters don't have the same knowledge as older generations.
It's disappointing to see the decline of it. The loss of harvesters, the people I've seen over the years that are just too old to go do it anymore.
And Duncan says the market got off to a bumpy start last year with COVID-19.
A lot of people just didn't want to get out in public, and we're still reeling from that a little bit.
Duncan says all the ginseng from Duncan's Botanicals is sold to Southeast Asia. Duncan says he doesn't expect to buy as much ginseng from harvesters as they have in the past, but hopes things will look more normal next year. The current price for a pound of wild ginseng is $550. Bartlett says a big part of the excitement in harvesting is not knowing what you'll find underneath the ground.
Looks like this plant is going to be a bigger one. And that's what gets you excited.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Benta Boutier.
Bartlett and Duncan say anyone interested in harvesting should find dark woods where they have written permission to forage. Well, new basketball season officially gets underway Saturday with the annual Hoosier Hysteria, but for the third time in 6 years, there'll be a different coach leading the team. Pat Bean reports.
You can forgive IU basketball fans for being overly enthusiastic about the start of a new season under a new coach. After all, it's a fan base hungry for a return to the glory years of IU basketball.
Our fans would be crazy like that if we were 0-32. So I think that, especially with having a whole new reset and a lot of buzz around the team, I think that it's really positive.
That reset was the hiring of former Hoosier star Mike Woodson in March as the head coach following the firing of Archie Miller, whose final 2 teams tied for 10th in the Big Ten. IU didn't beat Purdue in Miller's 4 years as a coach. Woodson was a 2-time All-American at IU in the late 1970s and spent the past 40 years in the NBA as a player, then as a coach. And when his alma mater called, Woodson jumped at the chance to turn the program around.
I came back here for one reason and one reason only, man, is to put this team back on top.
Getting there won't be easy. Indiana hasn't won a Big Ten title since 2016, but Woodson does have a preseason second-team All-American in Trace Jackson Davis to build his team around. Woodson also brought in a handful of transfers to fill immediate holes, including guard Xavier Johnson and forward Miller Kopp. Both started the 2 exhibition games this summer in the Bahamas, which served as much as a bonding experience as practice for the Hoosiers.
This team is probably, by far, right now, is probably my favorite team that I've been on. I'm not saying there's any bad blood with any of the other guys, but it's different. I think, in the last few years that I was here, we had little groups that everyone would hang out with, but now it's just our whole team.
Jackson Davis credits Woodson with much of the attitude change, and for him not opting to enter the NBA draft and return to Indiana.
There was no bad anything. He was perfect. The transition was so smooth. He came in and he really just brought almost like a positive vibe right from the get-go. I mean, he convinced me to stay in 10 minutes.
Woodson not only brings almost a decade of head coaching experience in the NBA to the equation, he has strong ties to the program's past, when competing for a Big Ten title was a given and hanging banners a possibility. All Woodson has to do to remind his team of what can be accomplished is point up.
Before practice every day, we huddle up and we look at the banners. We look at the Big Ten championship, and then we look at the 5 titles. And he says, that's our goal. We're going to start with the Big Ten championship, and that's our goal from day one.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Pat Bean.
Fans can get their first look at the men's and women's team during Hoosier Hysteria, 4 p.m. Saturday at Assembly Hall. Doors open at 2:30 p.m. Admission is free, but fans are asked to bring a canned food item for donation. And the Indiana football team is back in action Saturday night, facing a big test on the national stage. The Hoosiers will face 4th-ranked Penn State in Happy Valley, where more than 106,000 people are expected to be on hand.
This is one of the toughest places to play in the country, but that's also exciting as well. So I've coached in a lot of these types of venues, and it's why you do what you do.
Saturday's game kicks off at 7:30 p.m. on ABC. And that's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. Mallard Grodner Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. Alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.